Good morning, guys. Welcome to Kiki's Doorway. We're about to go down to the underworld and see what's going on from our past records, the Akashi records. So, we're going to start off with the air signs. First is Gemini. God, Gaia, God, Goddess, Mother, Father. What does Gemini need to know about their past life? What does Gemini need to know about their past life? What does Gemini need to know about their past life? Geminis are beautiful communicators. Yes, they are charming. Yes, at times they could be so calculated you would think they're a Virgo or a Taurus. But they know how to merge the material with the spiritual world. And they know how to communicate that to others, which is a very special gift. Okay. And by saying special gifts for Gemini, your special gift of a past life is monk and nun. Look at that. Monk and nun. Monk and nun. Let's see. Yes. So let's see. In your past life, you were very committed to the faith, whether you were a Christian. When I look at that picture, I think of Christianity because based on a robe, it looks like it was around the time of the Greco-Roman period, where you still had the old tradition or the ancient way of understanding spirituality. Christianity, before it became Christianity, was the exposure of paganism, Celtics, Druids. When I think of those names, it made me think of people that were in tune with nature, people that were in tune with the elements, people that not just communicated with the masculine side of the world, but the feminine side of the world, and knew how to merge those two together. So when I look at their hands being, held together in prayer, it makes me think of the masculine and the feminine aspect of man being merged together as that one union. So let's see what the book says about monk and nun. Let's see. For Geminis. Okay. Monk or nun. You drew this card, Gemini, as a result of your past lifetimes as a monk, nun, or someone similar. This means that you lived in a life filled with isolation, rules, and spiritual devotion. In your lifetime now, you may notice your tendency to isolate yourself from others. In fact, you likely feel most comfortable when you are by yourself. Yes, I feel like that too. Like I love people, but how I feel more centered, more at peace is when I'm by myself. So I can understand when Geminis definitely need to take that time out with all that energy from human beings and all the energy and information from the ethers. That human being that's a Gemini got to say, hey, I need a break for a second. I need to take a chill pill and sit with all these information, all these thoughts, and figure out how I can make this into a complete facts, a complete map of how things are and how people are and how we are. That's a huge thing, a huge responsibility. Gemini, other people may even refer to you as a monk. If this pattern is interfering with your relationships, you might consider having sessions with a qualified past life regressionist. In addition, you may have taken vows as a monk or a nun that may be interfering with your relationships, career, and more. Unless these vows are severed or severed, means like you could cut the ties of your past from your devotion, they carry forward through time. So for instance, if you took a vow of poverty, you may be struggling today with financial insecurity. Other past life vows could be connected to chastity, which can impact your present romantic life or self-denial, which causes you to feel undeserving or fearful of abundance. Often it's enough simply to consciously bring the memories of these vows to the surface in order to release them. Then it's just a matter of clearly severing them or severing them in all directions of time. Gemini, you can do so by simply saying the following: I hereby sever and release any vows that are self-destructive in all directions of time for everyone involved. I hereby sever and release any vows that are self-destructive in all directions of time for everyone involved. I hereby cut and release any vows that are self-destructive in all directions of time for everyone involved. So your past life wanted you to know that your devotion is nothing wrong with being devoted. Geminis, it's nothing wrong with being devoted. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with being devoted. If you're devoted or you made a vow in the month of May to bring out your creativity, then that would require you to merge your spirituality when you do that. Don't be afraid to, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're a writer, anything with the arts, anything I feel can become the arts, because everything had to become basic understanding first until we mastered as the art. So if you're trying to master something as an art, then merge your spirituality in it. If you are a singer and you haven't sung in a while, this is the time to start singing. You'll be surprised that your singing is tied to your spiritual background or your religious background. Don't be afraid to find how that allots to the now. Okay. Right. Let's see. What does the past life want Geminis to understand about their past as chastity? Or what else do Gemini need to learn and understand about their past lives? Because if you were a monk or a nun in your past life, where that means you were very devoted, so that means whatever you do in your spiritual practice or in your life purpose has to tie into your spiritual background. If you haven't reconnect with your spiritual background or your religious background, I think I should be saying religious background, not spiritual, and I think that's what's causing probably the confusion with you Geminis, is now that you might understand the spiritual aspect of yourself, go back to the religion that you were born unto. Like for me, I'm spiritual now. I'm more spiritual than I am religious, but I've always held religion in high regard. I feel that every religion has the key to unlocking the whole aspect of how people want to live and how people should want to live in their lives without any restrictions. We think that religion is trying to restrict us. Maybe it's the makeup of man that is teaching us the religion, or even just the case in point, rather than pointing fingers at a pastor or a deacon or a pope or a priest, or, anyone that's in a religious high figure, it's up to the sheep. It's up to the sheep, not the shepherd. The shepherd is one person leading a flock of sheep. So if it's one person leading a flock of sheep, then my sheep, you have to read the good book for yourself. Maybe that's your spiritual quest, to relearn your spiritual, or to relearn your religious upbringing, your religious background, whether you want to admit it or not. Like, yes, I love tarot reading. I love um, understanding empathic clairvoyance, and I'm into the dark arts, yes. However, I would not be into the dark arts if I didn't feel rooted or feel comfortable in the religion that I was born into. Yes, I was happen to be born into Christianity. I'm a Baptist Christian. However, my grandfather's father, so my great grandfather was a pastor, and how he taught his son, which is my grandfather, was not just Christianity. I had to learn the Kabbalah a little bit. I had to be introduced to the Quran. I had to be introduced to Buddha's principle, the lotus flower. I had to be they opened my eyes to different religions so I could better understand my main religion. So if that's what your quest is, take it, do it. And when you do that quest, reveal that to people that you're close with, that you feel that you could resonate in talking in both your religious aspect and in your spiritual. Because both have to coexist. The masculine part, which could have been your religion that you grew up in, and your spiritual part, which is the goddess or the feminine aspect in you, have to come together. They have to be married in together. Which comes into the next card that came out, and it's phobias. I'm all too well about understanding phobias. Like, one reason why I didn't want to do tarot reading at the beginning was my phobia of being possessed by demons, and God punishing me for learning tarot. And I realized, how can God punish you when He made man first? These tarot cards, candles, sage, anything spiritual are really tools. It's like another symbol, like a pencil. You need a pencil or pen to write information down. You can't just store it in your brain. So maybe it's re-looking at your spiritual aspect of your religion. Because sometimes the spiritual aspect of our religion could cause us to not even want to become or relearn religion anymore. It's like, wait, do you understand that in order for me to be religious, history showed that when you're religious, you must kill the goddess of yourself. You must kill the mother of yourself. How is that possible to merge the God, the masculine side of man, to the goddess feminine side of man? That is hard to even when you ask a human being, do you believe the mother is in religion? They'll look at you like you're insane. But if you say, what planet do you live on? They'll say Earth. And you say, well, what is it? Is it Father Earth or Mother Earth? They would have no other choice but to say Mother Earth. So if you had to use that as like an angle to make people feel a little bit comfortable and understanding that the feminine principle is also in religion. The feminine principle is just not governed by spirituality. Like, I feel maybe as people, as human beings, we might think that when we do spirituality, that's happening to the goddess aspect of ourselves, which it is. But a goddess will tell you, I'm not a goddess without that God aspect. So as human beings, our challenge might be to understand how to merge the God and the goddess, the father and the mother aspect together. And who better than the messenger between human beings and angels? Who better than Geminis that merge and communicate and were that mediator for the heavens and the earths? So we need you, Geminis, to step up and figure out how to merge the spiritual goddess aspect to the masculine religious side, which is Christianity, which is Kabbalah, which is the Quran. You know, we cannot be afraid. We're in the year of Aquarius. We cannot be afraid. We are in an era of technology. We should not be afraid to ask these questions. And how can we ask this question, you might ask, Gemini? Your last card was the arts. And I had a feeling that the arts could be an easy platform for you to figure out how to merge the spiritual aspect with your religious upbringing, because your religious upbringing is like a uproot, and just like a root stays with you whether you want to admit it or not. So if you're an artist, if you're a writer, if you're a drawer, if you're a graphic designer, if you're a fashion designer, if you are a carpenter, if you are, and it's funny, biblically speaking, Jesus was a carpenter, so he had to understand the arts. His father was the carpenter. He owned a business. His father was in charge of making sure that people's houses were secure, was solid. In order to do that, you really have to understand people's energy and understand the God and goddess aspect of themselves. So when they enter their home, they can feel whole. So if you're a builder, architect, anything that requires your hands, your creativity, tap into that. Whether that means finding workshops to get you back into the groove of it, whether it be you going to the 99-cent store and getting a sketchbook and some color pencils, whether it be you putting on a recording app so you could actually record when you play an instrument, anything to get you into understanding your spiritual and religious side of yourself through the arts will be a blessing. Because human beings, we like music, we like the arts, because it's a third way to critique or to judge something without becoming so offensive. So, and for you to feel like, maybe you feel nervous, like, okay, what if I'm able to merge? Maybe what if your problem is not merging the spiritual and religious? Maybe what if your fear or your concern is how to demonstrate that without feeling like you're badgering somebody over the head with this? Use the arts to do that. Use the arts. I can tell you it has helped for me immensely. I'm a singer, I'm a writer, I'm just learning how to dance. So I'm trying to use other areas of the arts to demonstrate my spiritual side and my religious side. And I can say so far it's been working. It's been helping me to understand that I cannot shun my religions. I cannot shun religion. If I shun religion, then that's like me shunning spirituality, and they go hand in hand. So if you like what you heard and seen at Kiki's Doorway, please like, share, and subscribe. Till we meet again, I love you. I'll meet you on the other side. Bye, Gemini.